Hello, Mama. Let's sit down together for a while. Maybe you've just fed your baby. Maybe you're preparing to. Maybe you're just looking for answers. You're wondering, why is something so natural still so uncomfortable when it happens in public? This is a conversation about bodies, babies, and the invisible weight of public perception. It's also a conversation about strength, instincts, and quiet rebellion. You are not alone in asking these questions, and you're definitely not alone in feeding your baby wherever you are, because babies don't care about context, only comfort. My first time breastfeeding in public. The first time I breastfed in public, it wasn't graceful. It was a noisy cafe. I had a crying baby. No bottle, no backup, just my exhausted body and a thin muslin cloth, and a man 2 tables down, pretending not to look, while definitely looking. I wasn't sure if my daughter was hungry or bored, but I knew she would scream until she had something in her mouth. So I did what millions of women before me have done. I breastfed her, half sweating, half feeding. I realized this isn't just about feeding. This is about fear, about conditioning, about courage. The cultural lens, what Germany taught me. I didn't always feel that tension. We lived in a small town in Germany for a while, and something shifted. There, breastfeeding in public was normal, expected even. I sat on park benches surrounded by women. Buggies parked, shirts lifted, babies latched. No one stared, no one commented. It felt like peace. You'd see it on buses, in cafes, in airports. Breastfeeding mid-conversation was simply what you did. And I thought, if it feels so natural here, then elsewhere. The problem isn't the act. It's the lens through which it's viewed. Why is breastfeeding in public still controversial? Despite its normalcy and legality in many places, public breastfeeding still makes headlines. Why? Here's what critics often say. It's indecent. Breasts are biologically designed to feed. If that makes someone uncomfortable, that discomfort is theirs to manage. It's inappropriate around children. What better way to raise future adults who respect bodies than by showing them real ones being used functionally and lovingly? Just pump instead. Sounds easy, but pumping requires time, tools, privacy, milk supply, and logistics. Not every mom has that luxury. I don't want to see it. The simplest answer to this is, then don't look. Is breastfeeding in public legal? Let's be clear. In many parts of the world, breastfeeding in public is a protected right. UK legal under the Equality Act 2010. USA legal in all 50 states. Germany legal and culturally accepted. Canada, Australia, EU countries all allow it. But even where it's legal, stigma persists. In some parts of Asia or the Middle East, it's legal but frowned upon. In others, it may not be illegal but carries cultural pressure to hide. So, legality is just one piece. Social comfort is still catching up. Part 2. The quiet load of public feeding. Let's talk about the part that often goes unspoken. Even when no one says anything, you feel it. The weight of wondering. Where's the quietest spot? Is anyone watching? Am I about to be judged? Again? Should I use a cover, or will I be judged for using one? You end up feeding your baby with one eye on the exit, scanning for discomfort, not in yourself, but in those around you. This isn't because you're insecure. It's because we've trained women to take up less space, even when feeding a child. The science behind breastfeeding. Let's ground this in facts. Breastfeeding isn't just a personal choice, it's a public health win. Babies who breastfeed are less likely to suffer from ear infections, respiratory illnesses, childhood obesity, SIDS, sudden infant death syndrome. Breastfeeding also benefits moms, reduces postpartum bleeding, lowers risk of breast and ovarian cancer, supports postpartum weight regulation, triggers oxytocin, which promotes bonding and calm. So when someone questions your choice to breastfeed in public, remember, you're not just feeding your baby, you're boosting their immune system, bonding, regulating your own hormones, and continuing one of the most natural human processes. And that deserves support, not scrutiny. What happens when it gets awkward? Let's be real. Sometimes people make it weird. A woman once told me that she was feeding her newborn in the corner of a shopping mall food court when a staff member walked up and said, "Could you take that to the lounge?" She looked at him calmly and replied, "Would you like me to ask the rest of your customers to eat their lunch in the bathroom too?" He backed off, quietly. This wasn't her trying to make a scene. This was her quietly reminding the world that a baby's lunch is just as valid as anyone else's. Why the controversy still exists. It's not about nipples. It's not about decency. It's about how we've been trained to view women's bodies. Breasts have been sexualized to the point where even nurturing behavior is seen as scandalous. Unlearning that isn't instant. It takes time, exposure, and visibility. Every time a mom breastfeeds in public, she's not making a political statement, but the ripple effect is real. The social script moms are handed. You've likely heard this before. You should be discreet. Use a cover. Can't you pump before leaving the house? What if there are men or children around? These are not neutral suggestions. They are quiet reminders to prioritize someone else's comfort over your baby's needs. But your baby's comfort matters more. Confidence, the game changer. This ties to confidence, not just in feeding, but in your identity as a mother. Many women feel invisible after giving birth, like their opinions, desires, and space are suddenly negotiable. Breastfeeding in public can feel like a small act of resistance, a way of saying, "I'm still here, I'm a mother, but I'm also a person. I will not disappear just to make someone else more comfortable." Part 3. Making public breastfeeding work for you. Every mom's experience is different. What feels natural for one woman may feel overwhelming for another. The goal is not perfection. It's peace. Your baby needs nourishment. You need comfort. Both are possible. Let's walk through some strategies that can make public breastfeeding easier, smoother, and less stressful. 1. Wear nursing-friendly layers. The right outfit can make a huge difference. Look for two-piece outfits, top layers you can lift while keeping your midsection covered, button-down shirts, nursing tanks, wrap tops, soft cardigans or shawls for added coverage if desired. Comfortable, flexible clothing allows you to focus on your baby, not your clothes. Second, scout locations ahead of time. Before heading out, check reviews or ask other parents. Are there baby-friendly cafes nearby? Is there a parent room in the mall or airport? Is there a quiet park bench you've used before? Having a mental list of friendly spots helps reduce the stress of, "Where do I go if she gets hungry?" 3. Practice your setup at home. Yes, it may feel silly, but practicing your public feeding style at home can help build confidence. Try using your nursing cover or wrap in front of a mirror. Practicing latch and lift techniques discreetly. Timing yourself to understand how long it takes to settle in. The more prepared you feel, the more relaxed you'll be in public. 4th, plan what you might say or say nothing. Some people feel better having a one-liner ready. Just feeding my baby. We're having lunch too. It's legal and natural. Others prefer to ignore and move on. Either is fine. This is your moment. You don't owe anyone an explanation. 5. Know who you're doing this for. You're not feeding in public to prove a point. You're doing it because your baby is hungry. That's it. Remind yourself, your baby's needs come first. Your rights matter. Your comfort is important. That clarity builds quiet confidence. 6. Carry a feeding kit if that helps. Some moms find peace in preparation. A muslin cloth or light blanket. A water bottle for yourself. A lip balm, hand sanitizer, and burp cloth. Just a few small items can turn a stressful moment into a manageable one. 7. Practice self-talk. The voice in your head matters. Say to yourself, I'm doing something good. My baby is safe, fed, and comforted. I belong here. This is normal. Every time you affirm your right to care for your child, you chip away at the cultural conditioning that says you shouldn't. When you get pushback, unfortunately, it can happen. A glare, a comment, a passive-aggressive gesture. Here's what to do. Stay calm. Most pushback is based on ignorance, not law. Know your legal rights in your country or region. Leave if you choose to, not because you were forced, but because you decided to. Share your experience with others if you feel comfortable. Visibility helps normalize what should never have been taboo. You don't need to argue. You're not a spokesperson for motherhood. You're just a mom feeding her baby, and that's enough. Part 4. Why this isn't just about feeding. At first glance, breastfeeding in public might seem like a minor thing, just a choice, just a moment. But for many women, it's tied to something larger. It's about visibility. It's about autonomy. It's about saying, I don't have to hide to be a good mother. You've probably been told, directly or indirectly, to be small, to be quiet, to not inconvenience others. But motherhood doesn't fit inside those boxes, and neither does breastfeeding. The emotional aftermath. Sometimes the most difficult part of public breastfeeding isn't the act itself. It's the lingering doubt. Did I offend someone? Did I expose too much? Was I disruptive? Should I have used a bottle instead? These thoughts aren't evidence that you did something wrong. They're evidence that you've been conditioned to second-guess yourself. Recognize that voice, but don't let it drive your choices. Your baby didn't ask for comfort in private. They asked for comfort, full stop. A quiet act of reclamation. When you breastfeed in public, you're not performing. You're parenting. You're responding to a need. You're practicing one of the oldest, most instinctual human behaviors. And in doing so, you are quietly reclaiming space, reclaiming your body from being solely a visual object, reclaiming your role as a nurturer in a society that often overlooks the work of caregiving, reclaiming your time, your rhythm, your choices. This is not radical. This is returning to what has always been true. Confidence isn't loud. You don't need to shout to claim your right to breastfeed in public. You don't need to post it online or defend it in comment sections. True confidence isn't performative. It's consistent. It's quiet. It's unshakable. It's in the way you calmly feed your baby on a park bench while the world goes on. It's in the way you meet someone's disapproval with stillness, not apology. It's in how you normalize something by refusing to treat it as a spectacle. And sometimes, confidence is simply being too tired to care what strangers think. That counts too. How this shapes the next generation. If you're wondering whether this matters, consider your children. If you have daughters, they're watching how you use your voice, how you claim space, how you honor your own needs. If you have sons, they're watching how you respond to discomfort, whether you look away from judgment or shrink in its presence. You're teaching them that nurturing is not shameful, that feeding is not indecent, that public and private don't have to mean hidden and exposed. They can mean consistent and whole. Part 5. The facts, the rights, the reminders. Let's finish with some practical truths, because sometimes what you need most is just a calm, clear answer to a question that shouldn't be complicated. Is breastfeeding in public legal? Yes, in many countries, it is explicitly protected by law. United Kingdom, legal under the Equality Act, 2010. United States, legal in all 50 states, D.C., and all U.S. territories. Canada, protected by law and widely supported. Australia and New Zealand, protected under anti-discrimination legislation. European Union, legal and supported, though social norms vary. Even in countries where it's not criminalized, some cultures still apply heavy pressure to keep it hidden. So, while the law is often on your side, society may still take time to catch up. That's why your calm defiance matters. Can someone legally ask you to leave for breastfeeding? In most Western countries, no, they cannot. A business or public institution that attempts to remove or shame a mother for breastfeeding could face legal consequences. Still, this doesn't stop awkward confrontations, so knowing your rights in advance helps you respond with composure. You can say, "I'm protected under insert local law to breastfeed here." Or more simply, "I'm feeding my baby. That's all I'm doing." No explanation needed. Do you have to cover up? Number A, cover is a tool, not a rule. Use it if it makes you more comfortable. Skip it if it doesn't. You are not being immodest. You are being a parent. Is breastfeeding in public offensive? To some people, perhaps, but offense is not the same as harm, and your child's right to eat in peace outweighs a stranger's preference for you to disappear. This is your sign. If you've been waiting for a sign, this is it. You don't need permission to care for your baby. You don't need to apologize for being visible. You don't need to justify a biologically necessary act of love. You have nothing to hide. So the next time you find yourself in a cafe, or at a bus stop, or on a bench in the sun, and your baby is hungry, feed them, calmly, freely, fully present. And if you ever feel alone in it, remember this. There are thousands of women doing the same thing right now, nursing in parks, on airplanes, in grocery stores, in front seats of cars, in checkout lines, at soccer games. Some are covered, some are not. Some are confident, some are anxious. All are valid. You are not alone. You are part of a quiet, global chorus of mothers doing what has always been done, nurturing with no need for shame. You are not doing something controversial. You are doing something maternal. Final affirmations. Let these settle into your heart. My baby deserves to eat whenever they are hungry. I deserve to feel safe and supported while feeding. My body is not inappropriate. It is powerful and purposeful. I am allowed to take up space. Feeding my baby is not a performance. It is parenting. You are doing something beautiful. You are doing something right. You are doing something ancient and instinctual and necessary. Take a breath, hold your head high, and carry on.